Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Anessa. I'm the owner of Glitter Fritter. I am an amigurumi pattern designer. I am a yarn hoarder, and as of recently, I am a notions and stitch marker and other cute little things made for knitting and crochet maker. I do run an Etsy shop where I kind of try to sell pretty much everything that I like and can make. But I started this channel because my family was tired of listening to me talk about like knitting and crochet and yarn and things that they don't do. And so I thought that I could connect with other people that might be interested in this kind of stuff. And I'm really excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk to you today. We're doing another podcast video because I have one finished project, as you may kind of guess at what it is based on what I'm wearing. I do have one project that I have on my needles that is almost done. And then I have one that I'm about to cast on that I'm super excited about. But what I also have is a ton of acquisitions. I have some stuff that I have gotten and I haven't filled you in yet. And so we have quite a big acquisitions haul today. Some of it is needles, some of it is yarn, some of it is super, super special. I'm very excited about. So I will talk to you about kind of like what projects I have in mind for all of these different acquisitions, what I'm going to be doing, all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, I think maybe we could start with the finished project. So the only finished project I have today is the Ceratop. So the Ceratop is the one I'm wearing, and I'll kind of like get up a bit more so you can see. It is by Novus Yarn, so it's published in Novus Yarns. It is made by, designed by Sari Norland, and it's supposed to be like a DK weight. So the yarn that the pattern called for, and I have talked about it before when I cast it on, but the pattern that the yarn that this pattern called for was actually discontinued. And I have always wanted to try Sadness Garn Line. And I really wanted it for a summer thing. And I am wearing this over a t-shirt. And my intention with this whole thing has always been to make it as something that I would wear almost like a summer vest. So I didn't want any kind of woolliness, super woolliness to it. So I figured the line would be really, or line, would be a really good yarn to use for this. And so that's the one I went with. I held a double. So I did hold a double for this to get the right gauge in place. And I knitted a size large. Now, I will say that I kind of probably should have gone to a medium because of the cotton blend in this yarn. It tends to stretch out a lot more. However, also because of the cotton blend, I was able to rectify that because originally when I knitted, there were these giant kind of gaping holes here because I should have done a medium for my size. I should have given it a bit of negative ease, but I was worried about the button band not fitting properly, which by the way, I don't know if we can kind of see, but I wonder if my lights will kind of really blow it out, but the buttons are little flowers. They're like white little flower buttons. They're so cute. So I should have sized down. I didn't size down. I sized for what I thought was my size. And it turned out to be large. However, what I did afterwards, especially after I blocked it, but what I did end up doing because of the cotton in this, I misted it and then I threw it in the dryer very quickly and it sucked it right back up, which is great. I did make it, as you can see, slightly, so these are like high-waisted pants that I have on, but I made it slightly cropped, but not too cropped. And I have worn this as just like a tank as well. And it looks really nice. I just didn't want to like blind you with cleavage on this channel. And so I did put the shirt underneath. And I did originally want to wear it this way. So it works great. For the shoulders, one thing I did not graft the shoulders. You could graft or you could sew together as per the pattern. I did end up sewing them together afterwards because I wanted a bit more reinforcement up top. I didn't want to stretch too much because of the ribbing pattern that kind of continues all the way up, meets in the middle and continues up. It would be hard to kind of sew it in, make it smaller, as naturally this part would start to stretch. And so I didn't graft, which would make it a lot more stretchy, but I sewed it together. But overall, I am really happy with this top. My favorite thing that so far that I have knitted, not counting socks and things like that. And I'm obsessed with it. And I chose this like buttery yellow. One of the selection reasons for this yarn was it's the one that came with the closest to the buttery yellow shade that I wanted. And I really wanted a yellow top, specific color of yellow top. And so I went with that. But speaking of socks, my next thing is what I'm almost done with, is my ruffle socks. So I am currently finishing up the ruffle socks by Petite Knit. So this was my first time doing German short rows and like German short row heel. And I gotta say, I love this heel construction. It might be the kind of heel that I'll be doing from now on with socks. I just love it. I love that I don't have to pick up gusset stitches. I hate that part about sock knitting. I love that the heel is continuous. So while I'd like a reinforced heel with like a slip knit heel, and I like that it reinforces it. I don't wear my knit socks every single day, and so I don't get that much use out of them. Like I wear them and I love them and they're the most comfy socks that I have, but for some reason I always save them for like special occasions or whatever. And so I don't need to reinforce my heel. And this just feels and looks better on my foot. So I just absolutely love it. I am now working on, so I made the heel and I'm now working on the foot. So I'll be done by the end of this weekend, which will be like the day after this video goes up for you guys. I should be done. I should be finishing up on the toes and blocking it. For the toes, I'm just going to do the kind of toe that I really like to do for myself. And so I'm not really focusing on the pattern anymore as I do this. However, I will say the ruffle was a new experience for me. So casting on this ruffle, especially when you are knitting 2 socks at a time, was a test of my endurance. And it was a personal hell for sure for a little while. I already got tangled up in here. Because you cast on like 1,000 stitches, right? You have to cast on quite a few stitches. And because I know, so the pattern calls for 2.5 needles. I knit my socks on 2.25, and I know that for my foot, because I need tighter, I actually need to cast on 72 stitches in order to get my foot. I'm only a 6.5. I used to be a 5.5, then I got pregnant, and now I'm a 6.5. So I don't have a large foot at all, but I still need 72 stitches. I also like my knit socks to be a little bit looser, so maybe that's why. The biggest size with a cast on, after you do the ruffle and you kind of like do the fold over cuff and you keep knitting, the biggest was 64. So I had to cast on even more stitches than the biggest size in the pattern. And it was a lot. It was a lot. I think I cast on, 236 or 250. What would that be? 72 times 2 times 2. I can't do math. I think it would have been like 250, I don't know, 260 something, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, it was a lot. It was over 200 stitches cast on in twisted cast on method, and it took me forever. The first 2 rows of knitting 2 through the back loop, 2 socks at a time, was also a test of patience. I also did not enjoy. I did really like learning to do folded cuff. Never done that before either. So this sock, while it looks like a plain little vanilla sock, is teaching me a lot, and I'm super happy with it. I am using, the yarn I'm using is Le Bien Aimé Super Socks in the color Bone. So that's the one I'm using. It's my favorite. The Super Socks is my favorite sock yarn to use. I really love it. It is quite pricey. However, there is a shop that's near us, Unit, that often puts Le Bien Aimé yarn on sale in their clearance section, a lot of times 40% off. And so I randomly roll by, and then when I see a hank that I like, I just grab it and then I use it for a sock in the future. So that's kind of what I got going on there. So those are like the projects. And now we can get into the real meat of this video, is the acquisitions. So I'm going to start with tools, which I got only like 2 types of tools, because I don't really need notions. Like I've been making stitch markers, which, by the way, there's going to be a new drop of stitch markers in my shop, and these are just so cute. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the community tab as well, or on my Instagram for glitter further, because these are adorable. I'm obsessed. I found like new, they're so cute. I won't talk too much about it, but I'm going to talk to you about what I did. So I did a thing. I was working on, so if you know that when I started knitting only this year, I started knitting on my knit picks, and I got the set. It was an interchangeable set, and I really like it. It's the rainbow colors, and I got it for $10, Facebook Marketplace, of somebody across the street from me who was selling them. And for a beginner, it's been a great set. Now, it's got a bit of a squeak to it, and some of the fastenings were starting to get undone. So it had its issues, especially with the needles that I was using the most. And I have always wanted to get a new set of interchangeable needles, and I always had my eye on the Luca. I think that's Luca is how you properly say it. I know people say like leaky and likey. I feel like on their website it says that it's Luca. I don't know where I got it from. I'm probably butchering it. Either way, that's the set that I had my eye on, and so I got it. I got a wildly great deal on them, and so I knew that I wanted to pick it up. This is in the Birchwood, yes. Set. So I got 2 on the project that I'll show you later already. So it's missing that, but they're absolutely stunning. I am just like, I'm obsessed. I've tested them out, and it is such an improvement, and it's making my knitting so much more pleasurable. And the one thing that I did for these was that I got, so they're actually interchangeable with the Knit Pro or the Knit Picks, which is what I had. So I got some Knit Pro swivel cords to go with them, and I got like a set of those. And I picked those up, and then after I picked those up, I realized that I'm pretty sure they haven't used the ones that came with the set. First, like, by the way, the little case has like a little standing thing, which is so cute. Not sure if I'll ever use that, but adorable. But I did pick up the Knit Pro swivel cords to go with it, and then I'm pretty sure that the swivel cords from the brand that actually came with this they are swivel cords. At least they seem to be when I test them. So now I have doubles, and that's okay because, you know, cords break sometimes. It has this pocket on the front here, and in here I just have some cable needles, some small sizes and stuff like that I just keep in there for like socks and things that I might need. I have larger cable needles as well. They are elsewhere. I don't know why I have so many. I probably got like a deal on them, or I found them thrifting, because I am yet to knit anything with cables. But when I'm ready, I have it. So that's kind of the needle upgrade of the week. However, I did not stop there because of the whenever I see a deal, and like I got these like a while back, so like, you know, it took forever to get here, but whenever I see a deal and I know that's going to save money in the future, and because of a project that I'm working on. So I was working on the beanie. I was working on the Lighthouse beanie. The Lighthouse Beanie by Kutubakika. And I realized that, I love working in Magic Loop. I'm a fan. I know people don't like it, but I do like it. But I did really want to try to work like in circular with it. And I did, I got a 16 cord, and I had my regular needles. I was using the knit picks at the time. And it put such a strain on because there's so much stretch, because it still was too big for the circumference. Like my setup was too large for the circumference of the hat. It put so much strain on my wrist that I actually had to stop knitting for like a week or so, because I was feeling like I had like a lot of pain in my wrist. So I was like, well, we can't have that. And we're going into like colder seasons. It's in a couple months, you know, like I want to be knitting a lot of sleeves. So I need some shorties. And I could have gotten shorties for again, a very good deal for the Luca brand as well. But I kind of wanted, I'd like to try different stuff. And I found an even better deal on the Knit Pro, and I really like Knit Pro needles too, the Special Collection Denim Shorties. And when I say that these are the cutest things, look at the size of this packaging. It's just adorable. It actually goes with all of my little project bags. But these are the tiniest. So it's got like another pocket in the front when you get them for your little, like anything to put the needles together. You've got the tiniest cords. Oh, something fell off. Like, look at these tiny cords. And again, if I need the big cords, and the cords are nice and blue, so everything matches. It's a really beautiful set. And I figured that, if I need shorties but with longer cords, I've got a ton of knit cords now, so I'm good to go. But inside there's this tiny little pocket. And it's a denim pocket, and in the denim pocket are the world's tiniest little shorties. These are super cute. I'm very excited for these. I believe these are the 2.5. I want to say they're 2.5. They're absolutely adorable. Like, I don't even understand how it's like new, like, I'm so excited to try these because I don't even understand how you would knit with these. So I'm very, very excited to try. But they're super small, and I figured for all my small little projects, I might even try them out for like some sock knitting too, if I don't feel like doing magic loop for socks. The only thing is that I really like knitting my socks 2 at a time on magic loop, because it makes the process go faster. Like these ruffle socks, they're taking me a week so far, and for me, like there was a lot I had to like look, and I had to take breaks quite a bit for like personal life reasons. And so a week to finish up, like a week and a half basically, to finish up a pair of socks is pretty good. And even if it is the same time, or even if it is slightly longer time, now that I'm done, I can just move on to the next project and I don't have to worry about knitting the second sock. So I do like that. But I think for things like little beanies and sleeves and all that stuff, and hats and gloves and everything, this is going to be great. So I am very pleased like on that. Now, I have collected for the next all of my yarn acquisitions, because I realized that it's been a while since we've done this, and I kind of like collect as I go wherever I find stuff, when I find good deals, and we haven't done this in a while. So I'm going to kind of take you through what I have. So since we're talking about socks, let's talk about the latest yarn acquisitions for sock knitting. So I went to a new yarn shop in Barrie. We went to visit some friends that live there, and they have, it's called Northern Yarn, and it's a really cute shop, and they carry Full Moon Fibers there, which is a local to them dyer, and I am very excited. So they do have sets for socks, but I kind of enjoyed making my own. So I picked up as the main, I have a literal rubber band around this, holding them together so that I know that this project is together. So I picked up the Wild Berry Solar Sock, and it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So pretty, somewhat, there's more nylon in this than your standard sock base. But I really, really like this. And the colors are just so pretty. So it's a bit probably harder to tell, but so there's like purples and light purple, and then there's also this very light pink that I kind of matched with this very, very light pink here for a mini, because I want to do slightly different designs on this. But there's also some green in it, and I picked up this green, and I think between the two of these it will be a really cool design. And what I plan to do with these is to make the icicle socks, which is basically just it's a cable sock, and the cables are all kind of different, and so they look like little icicles, and it's a slow fade. So I'm thinking to do it because I don't want it to be too jarring with this pink. I want to do it the icicle parts, the cables in this color, and fade it into the main sock color, and then do the heel and toe in this pink. I'm very excited for that. I think it'll be really good. Stay tuned for that finished project, because that's going to be coming up fairly soon. But before this one, I have another sock set that I picked up from another somewhat local. It was a bit of a hike to get to this yarn store, but it's one that I haven't been to. It's called the Wool Bin, and it's in Oakville. And so I drove out there, and I found this Leo and Roxy Yarn Co., also a local-ish I believe they're local-ish. Yeah, partly Canadian. So yeah, I think they're local, like about a couple hours, maybe an hour away. So not too far. But these are called the Marled Sock Kit. So 80% merino, superwash merino, 20% nylon, and you get these colors. And I am really, really stoked to cast these on as my next sock. So the way I work is I usually have a big project, And then after I'm done with the big project, I'm like very monogamous in my knitting. So when I'm done with the big project, like when I finish this, I cast on the ruffle socks. And so my next one is going to be some kind of top or a bigger project. And then afterwards, it's socks, right? So I always intertwine with socks because I love sock knitting. But that's going to be my next sock. Now, because of how busy, so like kind of to give you, so this is the marled part of it. It's just gray. It's like a dark gray and a cream, white cream. And then we've got this super hot pink and a creamy white. So because of how crazy these colors are, how bright they are, I'll probably just do a vanilla sock with it and do like the color cuff and the toe and the heel. However, these socks, the kit actually comes with a pattern. And they had a pattern, and it was basically a vanilla sock, except the cuff was white with this stripes on it, and then you had the different toe, I believe. I don't know if they did a different color heel, or maybe they did do a different heel. Anyways, I might do that. That might be fun, almost like a sporty kind of looking sock, which might be kind of fun to do. So that's next. So that's going to be my next big sock project. After I finish the top that I will talk about last, because it involves a yarn acquisition that is probably my best yarn acquisition to date. So next thing is, this is from another yarn shop. It's from Spin Me a Yarn, another great place that has a great clearance section. So I try to shop clearance as much as I can because, you know, yarn can get expensive, and this is a hobby that I love, but I don't want to lose my shirt over it. And so they had a super clearance. So that's not, it says $13.50 here, but that was not the price I paid at all. But they had the LRA Cashmerino Sport. And it's merino wool, extra fine merino wool, and cashmere blend. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Merino, so cashmere and acrylic. So there is acrylic in this as well. But these are the two colors that I got. It's probably hard to tell. Back it up a bit. They seem very, very close together. There is a reason to my madness of why I got two colors that are almost the same. So this colorway is Travertine, and this colorway is quartz. And so I got more of the quartz, which is basically like a white. And the Travertine is kind of like a nudie, light nude color. And I'm going to be making the ranunculus in this, but I want to do the yoke, the lace pattern yoke and the ranunculus in this Travertine color, in this nudie color. And then the rest of the top in this white. And I think that's going to make a really nice fall kind of sweater. So this will be great to wear around like October weather because it's got the wool and the cashmere. So I think it'll be super soft and super brilliant. Now, I do feel like I might need to do another trip to Spin Me a Yarn to see if they have more of these, just so I don't run out. And it's honestly like the softest, the most brilliant kind of soft fabric yarn, and so I can always make use of it. So that's a yarn. So I'm going to do all the yarn stuff first, and then I have a couple of acquisitions that I've thrifted and I'm super stoked about. So my last yarn shop acquisition was from the Knitting Loft, which is my favorite yarn shop in Toronto, and I got Lotulopi. I have never worked with Lotulopi before. I am quite nervous because I know it can be very delicate, but I think I can make it work, especially with my new needles. So these are the two colors I got, which is, so the colors only have numbers. So this is 1425 and this is 2027. And I got 3 of this kind of medium pink, basically, and 1 of this dark kind of maroon color. I'm not going to take it out of the, I'm sorry about the sound if you don't like that, but I won't take it out of this because I don't want it to come undone. But that's kind of the color. It is less bright, like it's brighter when I bring it up to the light, but it's more like this kind of maroony color. And then the pink is just like a medium pink. And I got these because I think I want to make the Weatherell sweater. So the Weatherell sweater you can find, I'll link all the patterns that I mentioned in the video in the description, but it's a very cool sweater. It kind of reminds me almost like a circus design because it's got like these like different patterns on it that reminds me of a circus tent for some reason, but I'm very excited. So when I was in the shop, there's so many colors of Lotulopi and it was really hard to pick what I wanted. And originally I went for something very safe, like a beigey kind of base, and then to have the yoke where the color design is. So it's a color color, a two color work sweater. So where the circus pattern design was, I kind of wanted to do like almost like a yellow, which I thought would be really cute, or maybe like a light green, like this kind of like the chair light green. And it felt very safe. And I was up there. And then I thought maybe like a navy with this. And I brought this up just because there was like a cool purple colorway that I was like, oh, maybe I could do like a purple thing. And I was talking to one of the girls that work there, and everybody that works there is amazing. If you need like help with selecting colors, like they're really good with giving opinions. And she was like, why not these two together? And I saw it, and then I could not unsee it because this was it. Like this as the base to get my pink sweater that I've always wanted, and then this for the color work at the top yoke. You guys, I am so excited. So that is going to be more of like a winter type project. Well, fall for winter, but I'm really excited to try Floaty Wilty because I haven't before. So next two acquisitions are from, I went to a creative reuse. So we have a creative reuse here, which I didn't realize we did. I always hear people talk about it. And I went there, and it's fine. To be honest with you, when I thrift, I find way better deals because creative reuse, the way, at least the one that's here, the way they work is they, for yarn, they look at what's, like what it actually costs on the market, and then they cut it by like 40% or whatever, which is a great deal. Don't get me wrong. It's a great deal. However, like you don't always get sweater amounts and all of that. And it still can get pretty pricey, especially if like the yarn is discontinued and they're going by the list price, but realistically you could probably find it way cheaper on like eBay or something like that. And when you're thrifting, you know, you could find this yarn for like $2. So it's not as inexpensive. So I didn't get too much stuff. It's still, you can get some really great deals there depending on how they price it. So one of the things I got was I got this Melissa yarn. It's a fun yarn. I've never tried one of these before. I'd have to obviously hold it with something, but it is, let me just block my face out so it concentrates. It's in a blue. It's got like all these different blues on it. Again, the color is 11. So it's made in Italy, 50 grams. It's the Melissa, Filatura di Crosa Melissa yarn. And I got it in this like kind of blue way. I've always wanted to try this, like even like those make it tweed kind of yarns where you hold it with something else. So at some point I think I got 4 of these. It should be enough for like a project. Which, you know, will be fine, I think, to kind of make like a short little fun t-shirt type of thing. So that seemed fun to me. So I grabbed it. Again, great deal. So had to get it. And then the other thing that I got from there was this Joe Sharp Infusion Kid Mohair. So this is Kid Mohair wool and polyamide. So not the silk mohair blend that you would normally get. However, I really like it because I got enough for a sweater quantity of it. So this one is, so again, it's definitely discontinued as well. And the color, is there a color? Yeah, it's another number. It's 617. So it wouldn't matter. It's discontinued anyways, but block my face so you can kind of see. So it is like a mauvey pink, but it also has some oranges and browns in it. And I think that this held single would make for a really beautiful flowy sweater. Maybe the aura top would be really nice in this. And so I got enough to make like a really nice long sleeve in this, which is what I just took everything they had. They had about like 7 cakes. So I took pretty much everything they had. Very excited for that. Now, the next one, the last one, is the one I'm the most excited for. Like this is my holy grail of thrift finding. So I'm always on Facebook Marketplace too. So I look around for all different types of places where one can score on some yarn. And I have different searches that I have saved. And so I look there. And so I saw somebody that was selling. So I guess they had, it was almost like an estate sale for yarn because it was somebody, they're getting rid of like their estate and clearing it out. And the woman had a yarn shop, and it was her daughter that was selling off the yarn. And she's not too familiar with yarn in general, but she just, even if she was, she said she just wants, there's so much, and she's just trying to basically clear this. They live in a mansion, I'm telling you right now. I went to there and I was like, oh wow, okay, like a straight up mansion. And so she's trying to clear out. So the entire basement was full of yarn. She's trying to clear it out. And I was not going to be like, I came there, I was like, wow, there's a lot that I could get here, but I had a specific one that she put aside for me in mind. And I truly like, I don't even understand. Like, I don't get it, but I got vintage Noro Hinageshi. First of all, can we just look at how stupendously gorgeous this yarn is? So this is a mix of viscose, cotton, linen, and nylon, and it is super textured. It's in this pink color. It's got like all of this texture on it. It's got a bit of a sheen. This is definitely vintage. I think it's from the 80s. It looked like it was in an 80s magazine, like a Noro 80s magazine, and the patterns looked very 80s. So I know it's vintage. They do not make it anymore. So you cannot find this yarn unless you have it in your stash. I got so this is a 50-gram hank, and it's got about 40 meters in it. Because it's so, we'll talk about gauge and all that stuff in a second. But it's 50 grams, 40 meters. So I got 5 of these hanks, 5 of these, plus she gave me 5 of these for $20, $25, 5 of these, $5 a piece for a vintage Noro that you can't find anymore. And her mom actually started working on a tank top or a vest or whatever she was working on. So there was, she's like, I'll just throw that in. So she gave that to me for free. Now, when I came home and I caked this thing up, there was 5 more hanks in it. So I got these for $2.50 a piece, basically, and I got 10 of them. And it's enough. So because the gauge, so I did test it out. It's impossible to find. So it says DK if you go on Ravelry. It's not really DK. When I do the wrap test with it, it does end up being a DK weight. However, if you were to knit this with a DK weight suggested needle, you would have a heck of a time. I tried it. Hated my life. It was too small. You kept, like, the yarn was impossible to work with. You really need a looser gauge with this and a looser needle. And so I tested some gauges with it. And so I definitely, even though it might seem like I don't have enough, because it's about like 395 meters that I have of this. So it doesn't seem like it's enough for any kind of project. But because the gauge of this is actually quite large, I actually have enough. I would have to knit an extra small in order to get a large, basically. And I have enough to do the Colette tee in it. And I've been really looking forward to trying to doing the Colette tee because I just think it's really simple but beautiful construction. So I did a little swatch test for you guys today and for myself because I knew that I wanted to show you what this would look like worked up. It's not the biggest swatch step. I'll be taking it apart because I'm not wasting any yarn. But this is what a swatch of this would look like. So as you can see, it's quite like long and large. This would be a very large full swatch if I did it. And this is like 20 stitches. So it will last you a long time, this yarn. So I started with testing this on the 6, which is kind of the bottom here, and it's pretty good. It's actually like very, very decent. It is a bit more holey than I would like, but I like the drape of it. So I do want this top to be a bit more oversized. I know it's suggested to have negative ease in the pattern, but I want it larger. So because of the 80s looking yarn, I kind of wanted like an 80s oversized feel to it. So I went down to a 5.5, and that was fine. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I'll do a 5. So I tried the 5 as well. And the 5 worked. It did make for a slightly stiffer fabric. But then I saw somebody who knitted something on it and they used a 6mm needle. So I was like, okay, so they did a 6 and it worked fine for them. So maybe if I compromise between what they did and I didn't really, like I liked, but it wasn't like blown away by it. And something that I liked, which is a 5, and go 5.5. And so I think I'll be knitting the Colette tee on 5.5 needles, which by my calculations, based on this gauge that I got, I will have to knit an extra small. So I have more than enough, which is great. I might have enough to do something small with it after, or I might be playing yarn chicken. But this to me, I think, was the winner of all my acquisitions so far because I'm truly amazed that I found it. I really jumped on it. And thank you for the seller who held it for me. It's amazing. And that's all I have for you guys this week. It was a lot. Tell me what your favorite parts are. If you watched all the way to the end, tell me what your favorite acquisition was because we talked a lot of acquisitions. So let me know what your favorite one was of the whole thing. And if it's the Noro, or if you have a good Noro story where you scored some good Noro thrifting, then definitely let me know. I'm a huge thrift finder. I buy everything secondhand. I get my deals. I buy off people a lot. I like to upcycle. I don't like things to end up in landfills. And so I try to shop responsibly where I can. So let me know if you have some fun acquisition stories. But I will end it with that. It's getting long. I know we talked a lot about yarn. So I'll end it there. And I will just say that thank you so much for joining me. If you're here all the way, if you haven't subscribed yet and you watched all the way through and you want to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. But otherwise, I will see you next week for another fun yarn video. Bye.